everyone, and welcome to Inside AWAI. My name is Rebecca Matter, and I'm joined by our Director of Training, Pam Foster. Hi, Pammy.
Hi, everybody.
I'm super excited about this specific session. We get together every month to dive deep into a session, but this one excites me a lot because most people, when I meet them as new writers, don't really understand the whole opportunity. And if you don't understand the opportunity that's out there, it's very, not hard to navigate it, but you don't even realize how much opportunity is on the table. So today we're going to dig in and really look at the full opportunity, walk you through it so that you not only realize how big it is, but so that you understand when having conversations with potential clients, how to have them in a way that sets you up for more and more work so that you don't have to find a lot of clients. You just have to find a couple that you really like to work with and happen to be able to do all of these things for them. So let's go over our agenda for today. So step one, we're going to understand the real opportunity, again, as you're going to see in just a few minutes. And if you've been through our AWAI method or you've been through our blueprint, the first section of this session is going to be a little bit repetitive. We want to make sure that there's a level playing field and everybody understands when we get into it what we say when we say the copywriting opportunity. So sit tight. There's new stuff for you later on. But we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page about the opportunity. We'll go through the best paying and most in-demand project types, and then we'll actually walk through a typical campaign so you can see how they all fit together. And that's one of the most important takeaways of this session is realizing that even though you're working on this one copy piece, there could be a dozen pieces in front of it and a dozen pieces after it. And if you understand what all those pieces are and where your piece fits in, not only does it make your copy more effective, but you can then start to expand the scope of every project simply by doing the copy of what's coming before or coming after. So very excited for this session. And with that, Pam, why don't you go ahead and jump us into what the opportunity really is.
All righty. So the core of everything we're doing and teaching here at AWAI is to support businesses. If you're supporting businesses with your writing, then that's where the money comes in because you're helping them drive business. You're going to be paid handsomely for that. So it's really different than writing your own novel or writing articles for a journal. Those aren't necessarily driving business, but what we're talking about today is the opportunity for big money, and that is where commerce is involved, or business. So the reason is commerce needs copywriting. Wherever they're exchanging money for goods and services, companies need to explain what the product or service is, how it solves a customer problem, need or wish, or a prospect's problem, need or wish, how it works, why it's the best solution and value for that customer, and then how much it costs and how to order it, right? I mean, can you buy anything without knowing those basic things? Not really. And so a lot of companies have competition in their field. Everybody does, right? Has competition in their category. So that bullet, that fourth bullet there, why it's the best solution and best value is super important because every company can say, here's our product, here's what it does, here's why it's solving a need. But the trick is to really set it apart from other options out there so that more and more customers choose them. And that's where really good copywriting comes in, and that's why it's so valuable. So commerce involves business to consumer, products, services, companies. So it could be anything from financial advisors to health professionals, health practices, retail stores and online e-commerce sites. Education, of course, is to consumer. Sporting events, sporting equipment, sporting interest websites, baby and new mom, that's a huge category. And food and wine, of course, is our evergreen category. Everybody loves to eat and drink forever. There's no limit to that. And then the automotive category is definitely to the consumer, buying cars and buying gear for their cars and that sort of thing, and services to keep their cars running. But then also there's that B2B or business to business side of commerce. And those are going to be the vendors and suppliers and services that support business. So software companies who may offer like human resources management software. Manufacturers obviously support business. Store needs, store signage, all of that stuff. HR systems, like I said, to manage employee hiring and training and all that. Shipping, So trucking, seaport shipping like this, flight shipping, there is all kinds of, oh gosh, companies and businesses that are supporting other companies to get their products shipped across the world, right? Then there's training. So safety training, for example, for OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Organization, that actually many companies have to pass OSHA safety standards to avoid penalties and to keep their employees safe. So they need training on that. And then construction is another area that is heavy duty in the commercial world, because of office buildings and commercial buildings and parking lots and strip malls and all that stuff. So that would be the B2B world. And then there are many industry categories that have both business to consumer and business to business aspects. I just put a few examples here, like fish tanks. You might buy a fish tank for your house, or you might go to a restaurant and you walk into the lobby and there's this big, gorgeous fish tank there, right? Office and school supplies is another category where Staples, for example, you might buy your office supplies from there, but also back to school season is huge and kids are buying or parents are buying their children's supplies. Safety gates, I could think of, obviously you'd have a safety gate at home for either a baby or a dog. They use them in daycare centers and doggy daycare centers too. So that would be a business application. And then pharmaceuticals, you will buy directly your prescriptions or over-the-counter medications, but also every hospital, every practice, those will have a similar supply of medications, of course, and so that's the business side. Skincare, again, you might buy through retail at Macy's or whatever, a lovely skincare cream, but also if you go to a dermatologist, they may offer something through their business. So again, business to business. Supplements, that is another world where you might buy supplements directly, but who supplies the supplements to the business you buy from? So if there's a website selling a variety of supplements, it's quite often another company made the supplements, and this is a website where you can choose different options. So that supplier side is the business side. And then gym equipment, again, you might buy one of those in-home running machines that, like Peloton, I think, that where you're online with people and they're all going on the same goal, or you go down to the gym and there's that same equipment in a gym, a business. So those are examples of where different markets can have a wide range of different kinds of companies, which is really exciting for you. I work in the veterinary industry on the side, and again, that's both B2C and B2B, because there are tons and tons and tons of websites, as you can imagine, that sell pet food, pet toys, pet beds, all that stuff directly to pet owners. And then there's this massive supplier industry of manufacturers making equipment for veterinary practices to use, things like that. So, oh gosh, almost every industry has this huge potential for you for clients. Basically, commerce is everywhere. It's everywhere across the globe. It's almost in every industry you can think of. I mean, I don't even know why I put the word almost in there. Every industry has commerce going on and selling going on, and that all means they need to market themselves with a variety of things. I read somewhere recently that I read an article, the top 21 marketing channels you should be using now. The top 21, but there are actually like 110 now between social media and trade shows and all kinds of, we're going to show you all kinds of different projects. Marketers today need to be out there selling in all of these realms. I've got YouTube on here and direct mail and newsletters, coupons, all kinds of things. So just sit and think for a minute of any business you go to or any company you do business with and all the ways they have to market themselves. It's kind of mind-blowing, but in a great way, because all of that selling needs copywriting, which is what we teach and which is what our members are doing every day. They're doing copywriting. And so we want to show you today what that really means for writers and what kinds of projects and pay you can expect by supplying companies copywriting services. So in short, what we define copywriting as is persuasive business writing with the intent of driving an action. And it's not just sales copy that might be selling shoes or an email that says there's a big Black Friday sale coming, but also content in a sense, which is blogs and articles and videos. They're driving an action too, that they're meant to drive awareness and then a next step. So if someone reads a blog post, it's not really selling anything, but there's usually a link that goes to some other step in the buying process. The blog post might just be building awareness, but then the next step is to look into a solution that could work for you, and therefore you might become a customer. So everything we write for businesses drives action in our world. And that's why businesses pay well, because they need to drive that action. So here's an example. I used to work for LL Bean, and I know enough about camping tents to talk about how people look for camping tents. So a consumer may go online to Google and search camping tent, like I did here in this example. And what you'll see here is there are ads with pictures. There are websites you can click on. There might be reviews that you can click on. You can sometimes compare tents or compare any kind of product, photo, cameras, all kinds of things you can find to compare online, right? And then you might find a coupon, a discount coupon online. You also may decide to choose a tent based on what you like in the copy about the description of it, that it's windproof and waterproof and airtight and all this good stuff, easy to set up, whatever all those things are that make it really great. Somebody had to write that so that you would choose that one and then place an order. So that's an example of how many different things are out there to help the consumer choose a camping tent and make an order. In the business-to-business world, it's the same pattern, really. We're all human beings looking for solutions, right? So let's say a company, a small business, is looking for an easy payroll system. So the manager of the company in charge of human resources and payroll may search online again and click on an ad. We've got some ads here for different payroll services. And what the manager would be doing is looking through these different ads and the copy and deciding which one they want to click on. They might not start at the top. They might, I've read that people look in threes. They kind of scan the search results 3 at a time and then move down if they don't see what they like. So let's just say these first 3 ads here, the second one is stronger. I don't know. I'm not really reading the copy, but a consumer manager would be reading that and saying, which one is the best fit for me, what I'm looking for? And then they click on the ad. They go to the website. What's on the website? Is there a video demo of how easy it is? Is there a free guide on how to make payroll painless? Something like that. Can you ask for a consultation on the system? So again, the companies who are selling payroll systems need to be there on the landscape when an HR manager is looking for solutions, all of these different ways. So that's what it's exciting about being a trained copywriter and content writer. One skill, writing persuasive copy, can equal up to 75 different projects and maybe more. We just stopped at 75 because, man, oh man, those what we found are the most common and the well-paying ones. And we have a report we put together, which we're going to have on your playback page for this recording of this session. And I want you to really look through that because you'll discover 75 different projects, what they are. We're going to talk about some of those today, but we're not going to talk about all 75 of them. But you can see what they are, what it takes to write them, why clients need them, and what they typically pay. So it's a great educational report for you, and we're putting it on the playback page. But before we move on, I just want to, again, commerce is everywhere, but what does it mean when you think about your opportunity? Well, by 2021, Forbes magazine had a quote that U.S. digital marketing spend will near $120 billion. And that is everything I discussed, all those channels, digital marketing, and I'm not even talking about direct mail, which is still a thing, very much so, and trade show materials and radio ads, but they're just talking about the digital landscape alone, the online marketing world. it's kind of mind-blowing in a great way, I keep saying, because it's just so much opportunity. I mean, in the veterinary industry alone, it's one of the biggest industries there are. And I think it's like a $61 billion industry in spending. So the landscape is huge between food and software and instruments, and just think of surgical equipment, and it goes on and on and on and on. There's so much potential that there could be 20 of me or 50 of me writing for the veterinary industry alone. So when you think about all these different niche markets that you might be interested in or have a background in, which would be super valuable to clients, there's room for you and probably 10 other people at least who work in that industry. So you don't even have to worry about competition. Oh, there's already a writer in the sports medicine industry. Doesn't matter. There are so many sports medicine companies out there and equipment suppliers that it doesn't matter. You can pretty much plan on being busy and making a great living no matter what. 70% of small to medium-sized businesses will increase their digital or web-based marketing budgets in the next couple of years. 70%. So just think of the little businesses and the medium-sized businesses in your community alone. Most of them are going to increase their marketing budgets, which means more copy is needed. And then bottom line is, every business needs copywriting to compete, thrive, and even survive in today's highly competitive market. So really what this means for you is you can help companies in your town and beyond with your writing, and they will love you for that. So become aware of the content or copy that you see on websites, emails, magazine ads, anywhere you are. It's funny, we have a member, Steve Maurer, who said he was just driving down the highway one day in his community, and he noticed all of a sudden all these industrial buildings. He'd never really looked at them before. And they were all kinds of things like granite counter manufacturers and washing machine parts manufacturers, and he kind of went, oh, I'm from the manufacturing world. I could be writing for every one of these businesses. And he's been going to town, reaching out to companies and getting work. So you can do the same thing. So now with that, I'm going to switch it over to Rebecca, and she's going to talk about a typical business to consumer campaign.
So the reason I wanted to do this whole entire presentation really is, again, to put things in perspective and in context. So Pam talked about the overall opportunity. So now you realize that copywriters and content writers serve a need for commerce, right? Without us writing all of the websites and social media and emails and newsletters and all of the campaigns, those companies can't sell. They can't do what they are made to do, which is sell their products or services. That's why they are in business, right? Otherwise, they can't pay their bills, they can't pay their employees, there's no point. So without us, that's very challenging for them. So they need us. We have a skill set that is necessary, that is highly valuable, and goes directly to the bottom line. So even that, like just knowing the power that you have, and then when you think about the scope and the size of the industry, millions of companies, 5 million in the US alone in B2B, millions in B2C. I mean, every possible niche you could possibly think of. Pam talked about the veterinary market. There not only could there be dozens of veterinary copywriters in that space, think about all the companies of all the providers, the cages, the food, the services, the medical equipment, everything. And then there's the people who provide a service, the veterinarians. I mean, you couldn't even scratch the surface. AWAI couldn't even scratch the surface. If everybody wanted to focus on that market, we couldn't even scratch the surface because we're talking millions. Professional service providers, people like veterinarians, CPAs, lawyers, things like that, 26 million in the US. So when you just start to wrap, it's almost too much to wrap our minds around. When we use numbers like $2.3 trillion in B2C, I don't even know what that means. That's so big, we can't even understand it. So to put it in perspective, it's all of this, and you only need this. And here is why. Because every company that is in business and has any kind of marketing has what we call marketing campaigns. There are components that they use in order to sell their products or services. So we're going to start with B2C. someone selling directly to you and me, business to consumer. So just anything that you get in the mail, anything that you see on in your email, and companies have both. Oftentimes there are, let's use like a skincare product. They might sell B2B, which is into companies like Sephora and Ulta and through other channels. And then they also have a consumer website where they're selling to you directly. I use a product called Ole Henriksen. They email me directly. They try to sell me directly, and so does Sephora. So there's oftentimes you won't even get to choose whether it's B2B, B2C. When you are working for a company, you might be doing both. But I want you to see just how much copy every single company is putting out there. So in the end for B2C, it's all about sales. When it comes to success, when it comes to measurement of campaigns, it's always tied to the sale. And no matter what anybody tells you about content and persuasion and persuasion and sales letters, the reason companies pay good writers is because they drive sales. So don't worry. We've talked about this before in the past. If you're not a natural born salesperson, that doesn't matter. There's plenty of places for you, but we all need to be on the same page. At the end of the day, we're moving someone towards a sale. We are helping them solve a problem or reach a goal that they have with a product or service. So whether you're the one directly selling or somebody else, you are still part of the machine that is ultimately getting someone to buy. So in B2C, it is all about sales. Now, all companies is all about sales, but I'm talking about measurement of campaigns. When you measure each of the components, it's what did we spend, how much effort did we put out there, and what did we get in the end? It's all measurable. That's what we talk about, right? That's why our copywriters, AWAI trained copywriters, are the best paid and are the most effective, because we all get that. So let's look at a B2C campaign. Now, back in the days, even before I started with AWAI, this was it. Copywriters had 4 opportunities. They could write for the mail, they could write for magazines and newspapers, they could write for the radio, or they could write for TV. This is it. It was the little known writing career, right? And this was super exciting. And copywriters like Bob Bly and Bill Bonner and Mark Ford, they blazed the trail in this industry and made it where copywriters made a ton of money simply because there weren't many people who could do it, who understood direct response, and there were just these such specific niche markets. And then came the internet, and welcome to the digital marketing world, because now that's why we have 75 plus projects. We have 75 in our pricing guide, but it's over 80. I mean, every time we think we're done, more channels are developed, are created. It's everything now. It's social media, it's SEO, it's video, it's content, it's pay-per-click, SEM, SEO, all this stuff. There's so much going on, and you don't have to know it all. Don't look at this and say, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? Look at this and say, that is a really big puzzle with a lot of pieces, and I only need one to start. And then I can decide what other pieces I'm going to put together to make up my writing business. But it is such a different landscape. People used to ask Nick Usborne, he always said, he was one of the first people on the scene when the internet came out who said writing for the internet is different. You can't just put your direct mail package online. You actually have to write for the person who is reading online. They're not sitting on the couch with no distractions. You're writing to somebody with everything coming at them all the time, trying to take away their attention. It's a very different mindset. People used to say to him when we first started training together, they would say, you were so lucky. You got to come at the very beginning. And he laughs today because he says, I didn't have it lucky. I had to convince all those people that what I was doing was right and valuable. You guys have the luxury of entering into an industry right now that is huge demand, growing rapidly, and every single channel you can think of, new channels coming on. It's overwhelming companies. We understand, I'm a marketer by trade. We understand that we have all this opportunity, but how do we do it all? If I'm a small business owner or a professional service provider, my job is servicing animals. I know how to do taxes. How do I understand? How am I supposed to know how to do social media and writing emails? It's too much. And that's where you come in, because you have that skill set that they don't want to have. They want to go service their animals. They want to make sure that the veterinary patients are taken care of. They don't want to have to worry about how they're going to get those patients in the door. That's where you come in. So today it's a totally different landscape. So when it comes to B2C, things oftentimes still start with a sales letter. It might not be the traditional long form sales letter that you've become comfortable with around AWI. The reason we teach you how to write a sales letter is that it is the end all be all campaign. If you can write a sales letter, you can write anything, because all of the pieces that you use in direct response are in there. But these days, whereas 15 years ago when I joined AWI, you had to know how to write a sales letter, you don't have to know how to write it anymore. It is the core of the entire campaign. But the copywriter who got paid $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 to write this, That's only one piece. He has no interest in writing all of the other pieces that go to this because it's in his best interest to jump on to the next big thing, right? So we let the Clayton Makepeaces of the world, the Paul Hollingshead, the Mike Palmers, those people write these amazing sales letters, and then we come behind and we benefit from them. So we have to get people to those sales letters, right? At the end of the day, I can't just send out a sales letter. I can't send out a sales letter on social media. They will take it down. I can't send out a sales letter through search. I can't send out a sales letter as a newsletter every time. I can't send out a sales letter every time I send an email. That's not how it works. The sales letter exists, but our job, or the marketer's job, is to get eyeballs on it. And the more relevant eyeballs I can get on the sales letter, the more chance I have for it to do its job of selling. More eyeballs, more sales. So that's where you come in. Ads. One simple, tiny little project. Google Ads. People are searching the internet for a solution to the problem that your sales letter, your client's sales letter, is hoping to solve. So that promotion I just showed you, this is an ad that would be linking to that sales letter. There are people, we just go on websites, right? We go on Barnes and Nobles, we go on news sites, we're not looking for anything. We're just consuming information. So there are ads that are attracting us with news stories. You know, I'm interested in this thing. I'm looking for information on what's happening in the world today. This $5 billion industry will grow by 3,800% by 2020. Click on that ad. Let's see what that industry is. And guess where it goes? The sales letter. Its job is to drive people to the sales letter. Then there are people on Facebook. Facebook is different. We're going to talk about social media a little bit later. But Facebook, all these are all ads, right? This is something you could just specialize in. You could write ads and ads and ads and ads and ads for the sales letter, but they all have different intentions. The first one, someone's searching for a solution. There's your ad. It's going to look different than somebody going through a news site. Oh, that's of interest. Clicking through to Facebook. These are ads being pushed at you because you are who you are. You don't have to search for anything. You log on to Facebook and, oh, look at that. A whole bunch of ads that are relevant to you based on your history, your search history, your engagement history, your history with other ads, things that you've liked, things that you've shared. Facebook is really good at putting forward things that are relevant to you. So those ads, again, are different. This is, social media is social. So this one looks totally different. That's ridiculous, said one of my friends, and lazy. It's crazy that people would do this just to buy some snacks. Very different. But you can specialize in these things and provide so much value, never having even touched the sales letter. There are things called advertorials. Advertorials, if you're not familiar, it's a kind of a combination between sales and content. Ironically, these days, we call it persuasion. It's funny, when I first started, there were two different camps, direct response and content. And content people said, we are not direct response, we don't do any selling, we're pure, we write content. And the direct response copywriter said, awesome, keep doing that. That's why we make more money, because we can get people to take action and actually buy. Fast forward to today, what do you see everywhere? Content marketing, it's all about persuasion. Content is part of the selling process. Of course it is. It always has been. But now it's not taboo or, dirty to say that you're a copywriter. It's just, everybody wants to be part of this process now because it's one connected chain. There was never a difference between copy and content. There still isn't. We say it in marketing simply because people have this idea that content and copy is different, but it's not. The basic rules apply. We write interesting. We're not boring. We talk to somebody like they're a real person. We follow the rules of persuasion, which is to make promises and deliver on those promises and keep somebody engaged on a conversational place and eventually get them to take an action. So an advertorial is oftentimes used. It's editorial based, but it has a very persuasive slant to get somebody primed so that when they see the sales letter, they're ready to go. So again, advertorials, they've always been popular. Today, they're just called content. And the content is trying to persuade somebody to move them forward so that when the sales letter appears, they are ready for it. It's priming them for the pump. But advertorials, if you can go out to clients and instead of saying, hey, can I write an article? Hey, I see you're trying to sell this thing. Let me write some advertorials for you. Let me set up the audience so that when they see that sales letter, they are ready. They are 80% of the way there. And all your sales letter has to do is close them. Huge money in something like advertorials. And there are landing pages, right? We have these ads out there. Lots of times these days, and it's not only by choice of the company, but also by choice of the marketing channel. Facebook, Google, companies like this, we need to play in their sandbox. We need to play by their rules. They might not like sales letters. Facebook's goal is engagement, right? It's social. It's trying to keep people in the Facebook platform for as long as possible. selling in there, even though they want you to sell, they're trying to place your ads, they still want you to do it on their terms in a social way. Google is the same way. So they won't necessarily let you go from an ad to a sales page. So we have landing pages. We have landing pages that allow us to collect information saying, raise your hand and tell me that you're interested in this. Give me that lead, and then I can follow up with you with your sales information. We're playing in their sandbox. We play by their rules. We want to help them continue on with their ultimate purpose or goal. Google, Facebook, all the social networks. It's okay. It's a good thing. But we still have to learn as writers to adapt to say, okay, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Google is trying to accomplish the best, most relevant, most accurate search result. It is a very good and pure goal. But as marketers, we're like, okay, but I still need to get the sale. So how do I work in your world of trying to be the most relevant, most accurate search result and still help my companies, my clients move the sale along? Things like lead gen pages. Everybody's searching, just tell me if you're interested, right? Fill out this piece of information, and then we will move you forward in the sales process. So just the ads and the landing pages to capture the lead can be a huge opportunity for you. Then there are newsletters. So now we've got all these names, and you may have seen the sales letter, you may have not. Either way, I don't want to just let you go. I know you're interested in this topic. You raised your hand. You gave me your information. You said, I'm a new mom who's worried about infant safety. Give me something, right? I might not be ready to buy right now. So newsletters, huge opportunity. And understanding that newsletters, their job isn't to sell per se, but it is still to connect and communicate and identify those problems and prove your credibility and your ability to solve the problem, so that eventually when they're ready to take advantage and go towards a solution, who are they going to trust? You, your client. You know, when I say you, I mean the person that you're writing for. You could just write newsletters, but again, realizing that the newsletter's job, where did it come? It came after the lead gen. It came after somebody raised their hand and said, I'm interested in this topic. So everyone that you're writing to in this moment, as a newsletter writer, you are trying to get them from lead to sale. So your job isn't to push them to the sale, because the sales letter is going to do that. Your job is to continue to prime them and warn them and get them ready so that when they see that sales letter and they're ready to buy, it sets them up for that sale. So you could just focus on newsletters. But again, my purpose with this section of this presentation is just to show you all the pieces so you see the size of the opportunity, but also realize how every piece is hand in hand with the ones before and the ones after it. Then, of course, there are emails. Lots and lots and lots of emails. Email is one of the biggest channels. It is the most effective channel for marketers, and the most effective because of the ROI. The amount of money that we can make back for every email that we send nothing can even come close to it. And this is year over year over year. I don't care how great social media is, how great search is. At the end of the day, there's no way on God's green earth that a company should not be sending out emails. It is the most effective channel. And if you find a client that isn't doing it properly, you just hit potentially a gold mine, because you could do so much. Email, onboarding. Onboarding means you've just met me, you've signed up for my e-letter, you've bought a product from me, and now I want to make sure that you take full advantage, that you understand what this is all about. This is how this works. That's onboarding. Lift notes. Lift notes are just quick little emails that get them to the sales letter. Don't have to do the selling. You're just setting them up to make sure that there's a relevant connection. So when they see the sales letter, it makes sense. Some emails are direct sale. You actually are going to sell in the email. There's retention. Retention is simply that you've just bought a product. How can I make sure that you start consuming and benefiting from the product so that you want to stay with us, that you don't cancel, because we want you to benefit. You raised your hand with a problem. We provide you with a solution. Now we want you to consume the solution so that you can experience the benefit, the real reason that you tried to solve the problem in the first place. And then there's ascension. There are emails that's job is to, you just took this action, and now I want you to take this action. And so the emails are going to move them to that next action. Email writing, if you get good at it, get yourself in a company that sends a lot of emails, and you could just continue. I mean, every single day, I mean, you know from AWAI how many emails we send, but every single day you could be writing a handful of emails with one client and really not need to go further. I recommend that you do go further, just because it's always nice to hedge your bets a little bit, but you can just see how much opportunity there is in this. But again, it all comes with, right? It's all wrapped around the sales letter. All this is leading to a sales letter, and it's all coming from lead gen, it's coming from newsletters, and it's coming from the ads and all this other stuff. And there's video. Video is just, it's always been great. It continues to get better. And in a digital environment now, we are looking for it as consumers more and more. There's so much content out there. We want to experience content in a different way. Explainer videos, things that show you how things work. Tutorials, same idea, but just actually showing you, like, this is how you're going to do this thing. Here's how you're going to go through the program. Here's how you're going to do your workout stuff. Video sales letter. You take their sales letter that someone else wrote, their brilliance, their big idea, their blood, sweat, and tears that took them 3 months to get it out on paper, and you convert it to a video. You can get paid just to convert someone else's. I'm actually looking for video sales letter writers now who can take brilliant packages and turn them into video sales letters that are still engaging and interesting and are have that conversational tone without knowing what to pull out, the subheads and things and testimonials. How do you put testimonials in a video sales letter? How do you get to the close when there's no button right there or number to call? That's a huge opportunity. You could just go to a company that has a lot of sales letters and doesn't have any VSLs and say, hey, here's an idea. How about I take one of your promos and turn it into a VSL? Nobody's going to say no to that. They're going to say, sure, go ahead and give it a shot. And it's going to lift response. VSLs always lift response over the sales letter. So you're going to come in looking like a champ, leaving like a superstar. It's such a great opportunity. There's the sales letter setup videos. You'll see them a lot on AWAI, right? The talking head, you'll see me. Hi there, Rebecca Manor here. I'm about to talk about the sales letter that's below. Those are those sales letter setup videos. Huge opportunity. You can fire off. I can write that. I can shoot that visual or that video in a matter of minutes. You could write that stuff. You just think about the person, how they talk, and write them a script, put them in front of the camera, and have them do it. Video emails. We talk how much about email, right? So much content, so many kinds of emails. You could turn them all into video. So you could just specialize in video and still be part of this massive chain. And we're just getting started. There's content, so much content out there, right? It is one of the biggest opportunities just because of the volume. Like I said before, when we come back to content, companies who manufacture widgets, the last thing they want to do is become a publisher, yet they have to, because how are they going to show up in the search engines? How are they going to have things to share on social media? What are they going to talk about? Why are people going to go to their website? It's all because of content. So you could just write content and be part of this massive machine. But again, what is your goal as a content writer? To set them up and move them forward to the sales, so when the sales letter appears, they are ready. Search engine optimization. In this whole big marketing mix, this campaign thing, there's search engine optimization. You wrote all the content. How do you make sure that the search engines can find it? 93% of online experiences begin with an online search. Someone going on the computer and saying, how do I make sure my baby is still breathing when he's sleeping? Right? That's the mom who wants infant safety products. They start with a search. 81%, how many people perform an online search before purchasing something? 81% before they sit by, go to the search engines and do a search. It's so important. And then 75% of people never scroll past the first page of the search engine results. So if your client stuff isn't shown on the first page of Google, great opportunity for you. Go in there, find their great content, and help them show up on the first page. Just show them these stats. Hey, you're not on the first page for these key terms that are important to your business. Let me help you do that. Because if you just look, 93% of online experiences go to online search and 81% of purchases. If you're not on that first page, there's a really good chance you're not going to be selling. Let me help you. And this is just an example of, the number one person. Your client could be at the top. If I search digital marketing guide and I find that, why would I go past, right? That's the reason why we don't go past the first page anymore, because Google is so good at what they do. And as a writer, you can be good at that with them. Your job is to help Google figure out back in the day, it was all about gimmicks. Not anymore. Now quality matters. Google knows. It wants content that is written so that they know what it's about, but that is written to the person. Conversational writing that keeps people engaged and keeps them on the page and reading. And that's what you do as a copywriter. And finally, social media. Like this one, someone just showed me one of our boards for all the social media accounts that we're opening for all of our different brands. It scrolled and scrolled, and so there were things I don't even know about. Not only do I not have accounts in them, but I didn't even know that it was a thing. There are so many different kinds, and this isn't a good representation. You recognize all of these most likely, but there are so many. You could focus on one. You could focus on many. You could do as much as you want. We just hired somebody just to handle our AWAI social accounts. But we also have Barefoot Writer. We have other entities. We have groups and communities and all of this stuff. Social media is a huge opportunity. It's great for retainers for those of you looking to transition from a full-time job into a freelance life, having steady income is a really nice thing when you know, okay, I don't have to worry about my bills because I've got these retainer accounts that are going to pay for my bills, and now everything else is going to be on top of that. So I can have a little bit of flexibility up here knowing that this is set. Social media is a great opportunity for retainers. Just one thing I want to mention about social media, there's so many aspects to it. It could be, this is how Facebook measures things that you could be doing on Facebook. It could be brand awareness, helping people become familiar with the brand. It could be to actually generate leads, getting them those lead gen pages. It could be customer service. As a writer, you could be working to show and demonstrate what a great company it is by showing how they treat their customers. Or it could be driving traffic. You can use social media to drive your search engine traffic, to drive pages of the content, to drive content people to the sales letters. I mean, it's all connected. It's just like a one thing of a chain. And why that's important to you is because you now know that the chain exists. Whenever you have a conversation with a client, I want you to know that. And I want you to ask this one question. Let's say they hire you to write a piece of content. I want you to ask them, where are people coming from and where are they going after? If you ask that question every single time you get any assignment from a client, your value level jumps up because they understand that you understand the big picture. And then from there, what do you think you're going to ask? If I get hired to write a landing page and I ask the question, how are people getting to this landing page and where are they going afterward? And then they're going to tell me. And then the next thing I'm going to say is, I'd like to write those ads and I want to write that next email, the email series that follows up, because I know when I focus on this landing page, I want to make sure that the ads are right, that they're bringing in the right people to my landing page. And when they sign up, I want to make sure that the emails are doing a good enough job of setting them up for your sales letter to make sure that nobody gets lost in that chain. If you want to make a lot of money from every client you take on, that is the way. Understanding the chain and just saying, I'd like to take on the pieces around the piece that you're hiring me for. And you don't have to, but you could. You could write content and also write the social media posts. You could write content and also optimize it for the search engines. All this stuff goes together and it's a huge, huge opportunity for you. So let's do a little bit of math real quick. This is AWAI, 5 campaigns, basically are running at any given time, 12 elements each. That's not realistic. That's actually super low when we think about all the social media, all the content, all the emails, all the components that go to that one sales letter. So we're talking 60 copy elements times 50 campaigns every single year. This is AWAI. We are a tiny, tiny company. 3,120 copy elements are needed. I actually had an idea before this session. I was going to ask our accounts payable person to run the fees that I have paid for copywriting, editorial, and royalties. And I'm going to share them at some point because I think it's going to be shocking when you know how tiny we are, how much we pay for copy and content. And we can't even hold a candle to most companies. I like to train copywriters. We bring them in, we make them awesome, and then they go and work for all the bigger companies because they can make more just because there's just so much opportunity out there. So just think about it. Think about the fees perspective, $100 for 50-word space ad. And it's going to take you maybe an hour to think about. And once you come up with that one space ad, you can whip off, okay, people who are searching, how would I handle it there? People who are on Facebook, how would I target our audience there? People who are browsing other news sites, the same idea, how do I make it show up and make it different, make it look more newsy on those sites? Once you have the idea, you can whip off 10, 20, 30 different ads that the company can use. And they're going to want multiple ads. At any given time, marketers are testing 3, 4, 5, 6 different things at a time. And with the speed of search and social media, we're able to test all these things at one time, find the winner, and then guess what? We want to test more. We're always looking for the next big win. So you could just write ads. $3 or $5 for an article that may take you a couple of hours to write. I can bang out a writer's life article now in an hour. It used to take me 8 hours, but now it only takes me an hour. So my dollar per hour has gone up considerably just because I've gotten faster. Now, do I charge less because I got faster? No, still the same price. Actually, it's more, but I'm also faster at it, which makes it great. And I recommend you do the same. You will get better. You will get faster. You do not lower your rates. If anything, you raise them because your quality is even better as well. $1,500 for a series of emails that you can wrap up in a day, a whole sequence. You could easily write a 7-email sequence in a day. You already have the sales letter. You don't have to come up with all the ideas. You just look at the sales letter and you break apart what we call gates, ways to get into the sales letter. Write the emails, real short emails, kick them over to the sales letter. You walk away and collect your check for one day of work. $1,500, even $2,000 for a monthly newsletter, $1,000 for a video script, $700 for search engine optimization, $2,000 a month to write regular social media posts. It's just crazy. And when you think about this could be one client. You could be doing all of this for one client. I can write the emails for you today for the campaign. I can write the social media posts for you tomorrow. I can write the ads the day after that. I can write the newsletter and the content. I can write you a video script that goes on top of the sales letter. And now, in just a week, if you add up all of these fees together, that's what I'm going to make this week from one client. Right? Like, it's crazy. Okay, I know we are getting close. Let's see, we've got 10 minutes. I want to run through the B2B opportunity quickly just so you can kind of see how all of those pieces are fit together as well. Pam, did you have anything to add, or I'm just going to go through and take
Nope. Oh, you want to go through these? Okay.
Yep.
Go right ahead.
Just to continue on. Thank you. Okay, so just wanted to show you the B2B side of things since we've looked at B2C. When it comes to B2B, it's all about the leads. So on B2C, it was all about the sales. On the B2B side, it's all about the leads, but it's the same chain. It is all connected. So their goal with all of this is then how do they get these leads, and then they're going to turn them into sales. But the lead piece of it is such an important thing. When you're in the B2B world, you and I are making a buying decision. It's just us. Maybe we ask our husband or our wife or our partner, but really we're making this decision. Is it the right decision for me? When it comes to B2B, there's a whole bunch of people who have to make these decisions. These are sometimes $1 million decisions. It's not buying a tractor. It's buying tractors for the farms, for all of the farms that manufacture that farm your product. So these are huge purchases. And so in order to make a decision, buyers consume content for months. It could be a software system. Imagine if you have 500 people using a software system, or you have all of these records in one software system and you're looking at a different software system. You better be really sure that this is the thing that you want to do, because once you make that switch, it's going to affect everyone in your business, the whole integration process of switching softwares. These purchases are big, and so they have to consume a lot of content to make the decision. Now, unlike B2C, B2B, the person knows that the problem exists and they know what solutions exist, and they're just trying to figure out, is this the right solution for me? So it's just a little bit different. With B2C, it's, you've got a problem, we've got a solution. It's just kind of continuing to set you up as this is the solution for you. Whereas in B2B, it's here's why our solution is the best solution. So it's turning those leads into sales as well. So let's look at a typical B2B campaign. So a company produces a white paper, otherwise known as a report. If you're a fact-based writer, if you like research, white papers are great for you. They take, 5 to 8 weeks to write, depending on how in-depth the topic is, but they pay really well, $5,000 to $8,000. But if you're one of these, I like everything in between the lines, and black and white, fact-based research white papers are great opportunities for you, but they produce this white paper. And then they create a landing page where the prospects sign up for it. So you're looking for new accounting software. Here's a free report about accounting software and how it can help your business. Super boring, super dry, but the buyer needs it to say, okay, does this software have the benefit, the features that I need? In most marketing, we talk about benefits. When it comes to B2B, there are benefits as well, but it's a lot more heavy on the features. Does it have the things that I need in order for it to be a good purchasing decision? So prospects, their people are driven to the page in a variety of ways. Now we have the white paper, we have the landing page. The white paper writer has handed it over, kind of like the sales letter, and typically walks away. And now the marketing team has to get people to consume and download that white paper. So those people are driven to that landing page. It could be online ads, similar to B2C. It could be on their own website or blog, and probably both. It could be through social posts, so paid advertising on social media. It could be through sponsored emails, e-newsletter ads, journal ads, place articles, trade shows, webinars, press releases, event speaking. They get this white paper everywhere. People stand on the stage at their trade shows and say, here's my topic, blah, blah, blah. For more information, please download our white paper at da-da-da-da-da. They will issue press releases. This white paper is now available. It's the end-all, be-all. If you have an accounting issue, you need to know about this problem and this solution that provides it. And it's no different than B2C. It just has a different packaging, but the intention is still the same. How do we get as many eyeballs on this white paper? How do we get as many leads as we can so that our sales team can follow up and close them? So the prospects who request their white paper are now leads, right? Now the sales team has to call. So you've peppered all this content. Remember, this is all just getting the white paper downloaded. This is just getting the leads. This is one side of the B2B chain, if you will. Let's say there's on average, there's usually 22 touches before a B2B person makes a big buying decision. So part of it is getting all of the content to get them to the white paper, to get the lead. And the other half is how to actually close them. How do you actually sell the person so that they make the buying decision? So there could be email campaigns. They can follow up on the leads right away. Thank you for signing up for the white paper. Here's the next step. We'd like to have somebody call you. It could be long-term. You know, if it's a 6-month, year buying process, they get a lot of emails to nurture those leads. Maybe they're trying to move those leads to a certain level. Once they take this next action, they're ready for our sales team to call. There could be special email campaigns for leads in targeted industries. So based on all the leads I got, these ones fit a profile that are so specific to this kind of sales message. We're going to segment them out and we're going to send this specific message. E-newsletters, just like B2C. And then they've got to turn these leads into sales. So they've got demos that are scripted of how to use the software. They have case studies, people who have used the software and had great success with it. Now we got to publish the case studies to show the before and after stories. Sell sheets and brochures, articles, infographics are big. How the software benefits and the, quality that everybody has improved by using this. And if they have this software, their life is going to be like that. Slide presentations like this one. You can get paid just to write slide presentations for the sales teams to walk through with the prospects, templates. I mean, it's just such a big opportunity. The bottom line, though, with all of this is that you drive their business as a writer. Whether you're on the content side, the copy side, it doesn't really matter. It's all chained together. There is an end goal, which is to sell the product or service. And there are so many things that you could do, no matter what your writing style is, no matter what your desire is. If you like to interview people who are super happy about something, write case studies. If you're fact-based, write white papers. If you like short copy and you want to have I want to write 7 emails today and get paid $1,500, write emails or do it all or do some. The beauty is it doesn't matter where you start. You can start anywhere you want. You can decide that you're not even going to choose where you're going to start and instead just start trying to find clients, see what they actually need. And when they call you up and say, hey, Rebecca, can you write case studies? You know what? I can. I have time in my schedule 4 weeks from now. And then you hang up the phone, you go to AWAI, you download the program on how to write case studies, and you're off to the races. You never know what they're going to need, and you don't have to know it all. Clients are going to expect that you're busy. You're a professional writer. You might not have time right now, and you probably won't, and you probably shouldn't, right? It's easier to find a job when you have a job because it's the appearance of being in demand. So it's okay to say 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I have time in my schedule, and then just figure it out. You will be able to figure it out. Now, will you get better over time? Of course. I'm not saying for you to go out and say you're the A-level best copywriter in all the land, but can you write a case study? Yes. Can you write an email? Yes. Newsletter? Yes. Social media? Yes. White paper? Yes. We have everything that you need to show you how to do those things. Just say yes and then figure it out. If you can't figure it out, come to us and we will help you figure it out. The key is just now you know the chain, you know all of the pieces, you know the end game, no matter what anybody says. Video is social is social. It's not about selling. Content is not about, it all is about selling. At the end of the day, it is about selling. And any company that you talk to, if you say, I don't like to sell or I'm not part of the selling process, why would you say that? You're talking to the person whose job it is to sell, right? That's what they are being incentivized for. That's what they're living and dying by, is whether or not they can keep the company in business. They can sell enough product or service to make the world go round. So you are part of the selling process no matter where you are. And that's a beautiful thing. And because there are so many project types, no matter what your personality, long form, short form, whatever, there's tons of opportunities for you. So just get started. My takeaways: the opportunity is vast. It is so big. And the demand for trained writers is skyrocketing. Quality trumps quantity any day of the week now. You talk to people from back in the days like the Steve Mowers of the world who worked for the content farms, which used to, want articles written for $2, $3, $4, $5, and they would slave to try and get enough to make it worthwhile. Those things used to make things matter on the search engines. It doesn't anymore. Google knows. They want really good content. Social knows. They want really good content. The prospects know. The readers know. We know now if we hit a website or get an email, we're like, I don't believe in this stuff. And marketers and companies are investing so much money in their marketing these days, they don't want to waste that opportunity, that resource. on bad copy or content. So the demand for you is just going up, up, up. What you provide is value. It is so valuable. And I want you, if nothing else, that you walk away from this session, understand that you provide an extremely valuable professional service. And you need to know what you're worth. Study the pricing guide. Understand. Most writers I talk to, when they find out about AWAI and they finally start to dig in and really understand the opportunity, are more fearful of the prices, that it's too high. I don't want to ask for $1,500 for an email campaign. Why not? Like, why wouldn't you? That's what they expect to pay. You could do yourself a disservice simply by underpricing yourself. You can lose the job simply by underpricing yourself. Nick Osborne tells a story. He was bidding on this project years ago, and he thought of a price and he got nervous and cut it in half, and they did not give him the job. And they told him later on, like, because they thought he was the best guy. But at that price, it was supposed to be a $25,000 project. At $10,000, there's no way he could be the best. They were expecting to pay 25, and because he said 10, they're like, oh, we thought you were the best. We're going to go find the best. So know your value, know your worth, and then just say yes, figure it out, know you're going to get better as time goes on, and then increase the scope of every project simply by asking the other elements. And that conversation, again, goes like this. You're asking to write a landing page. I can absolutely do that for you. Can you tell me how people are going to get to the page? And can you tell me what they see afterward? And as soon as they tell you that, I'd like to write those pieces to ensure we don't lose them along the chain. I want to make sure that they get to your sales letter primed so that when they are at that experience, when the sales team calls, whatever it is, they are ready. And there hasn't been a breakdown in that chain. It will make you more valuable and will increase the value of every client that you take on. All right, with that, let's open up for questions, Pam.
All righty. We have one that says, can you talk a little bit about helping clients find the appropriate audience for one of these strategies? She has a client who she's been creating email blasts, but it's an old list from 2016, and they're really not doing well with it. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Ooh, what is the market?
Oh gosh, let's see. She doesn't.
I'll make a
say.
couple comments while you post
Okay.
what the market is. An old list from, you said when? 2016? Is that what you said, Pam?
2016.
Yeah, that's a 3-year-old list, so it's
Almost
not a good
4,
list anymore.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, insurance. Sorry,
insurance. So unfortunately, what we call, when you talk about email lists, there's something called churn. And you are naturally going to have churn every single month that you don't add new names in. Every single month, your email list continues to go down. And that's just, it is what it is. People move, people change their email addresses, people lose interest. If you're not investing on building a list at any given time, eventually your list will just shrink and it will die, which is likely what has happened to your client. That's unfortunate, because if she had been building her list all along, she would have had much smaller investment and been able to put in 10 names in as 10 names churned out. That's just part of email marketing. So what you want to help her do now is she's going to have to invest to build that list back up. Now you can do it slowly, but the slower you do it, obviously the slower the response is going to be as well. So how do you build lists? You can do that through ads. You can do that through social. You can do that by everything that we talked about right now. She needs to identify who her best client is. Who is that? I actually went to a training at Digital Marketer a few weeks ago, and one of the guys on the stage was talking about your level 10 buyer. Who is your level 10 prospect? And you can use this phrasing. Say you learned it from Digital Marketer. Ask them to, you'll also hear this called avatar, but ask them to write down specifically who the person is. How much money do they make? What is their age demographic? What are some of their interests? Do they have professional careers? Are they in certain industries? Have her look through who the best clients have been to date in the insurance agency. Now you know who you're going after. So now we have, this is a big marketing lesson. Maybe we should do a different session just on marketing 101. But now that we know who we're going after, we ask the questions. Well, where are they? What LinkedIn groups are they hanging out in? What things do they like? What magazines do they read? What things are they interested in on Facebook? What Instagram feeds are they following? You start to figure out where they are. Then you start to run ads to try and drive those people to pull them to your white paper, lead magnet, whatever the thing is. You've got to have something to engage with them. You've got to give them something to demonstrate. So that could be a video, it could be a white paper, it could be a special report, it could be anything. But we've got to get them to us to collect their names for, obviously, for the email list. Once you start to do that, you'll start to see where it's coming from, like and this is where a marketer comes in who understands the different platforms. And you could, partner up with a marketer who does this. Once you start to figure out what's working, then you focus all your efforts there and you pull more. Once you have a good audience, you can then upload those audiences to things like Google and Facebook, and they will find what are called lookalikes. And a lookalike is an audience very similar to the audience that you have told Facebook is your best audience. Your 2016 list is probably too old, but you could do this. You could upload that list, or you could upload the list of all of her best insurance clients to date into Facebook, create a lookalike audience, and that would help you reach people who look just like the people that were her best clients. I apologize for it's kind of a top level 30,000 foot view into marketing. It's very complicated, but that is kind of how you build a list. The most important thing you all want to take away from this, though, is that email list churn. There's always going to be a churn, and if your client isn't willing to continue to invest in the list to bring new names in, your job is going to get harder because the list is going to continue to shrink, and that's not on you. That's on your client.
Okay. We have a lot of questions about getting clients and who actually pay those prices we've been showing you. And I wanted everyone to know, if you go to our Inside AWAI page, and all you do is go to awai.com/inside-AWAI, you will find several really cool sessions like this. They're an hour long on getting clients, like getting your foot in the door with your first client, how to get clients, how to understand what they're looking for and how to approach them, how to get clients through LinkedIn. There are several different topics on that. So please do just go to our general Inside AWI page. And if you can't find it, all you have to do is go to our website and put in the search bar at the top, Inside AWI, and it'll bring you to that main page where you can scroll down and see a whole bunch of different topics on getting clients. What is the market for self-improvement in B2B email?
I answered that one earlier.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
But I would just say, I don't know if you have a different answer. For me, I answered training. I mean, corporate training is such a big piece of the B2B world. Everybody in B2B, whether it's safety, accounting, marketing, sales, they all have a training budget. And to me, that is where self-improvement ties in. Plus, these days, so many companies have what are quote unquote health benefits. There have to be companies that are targeting the companies who have these benefits. What I would do if I wanted to reverse engineer it would be to pretend you're a big company and you're searching on how to use your health benefits for 2020 and see what companies are out there in Google trying to target you. Sign up for their white papers. You'll find out people who are trying. Or if you can talk to HR managers, if you can reach out, go find a LinkedIn group from ADP or about HR managers and say, hey guys, who do you use for training? How do you guys use your health benefits? I've been charged with this task, and just get all the information that way. It's a great way of researching who your potential clients could be.
All right. Here's another question. How should you respond when a prospect asks if you have written a certain project, but you haven't really written one previously and they want proof? You want to say yes and show that you have.
You won't say yes. You say, yes, I can do that. You won't say, yes, I've done it, because that would be lying. And I am a 100%, I believe in honesty at all costs, simply because you never want to start a relationship on a lie, right? When we think about clients and we think about relationships, it's no different than finding a spouse. You don't want to start that big relationship on a lie, because once it comes out later on that you lied, now there's a difference though. There's a difference in me saying, I've done something before and saying I'm a professional, right? If I'm a brand new dentist, if I've invested in my dental training, I'm not going to walk out there and say, I'm brand new, let me drill your teeth. That's weird, but I can come out and say, I'm a professional dentist. I got a certificate that shows it, right? If you guys are doing our certifications, you have a certificate that proves that you are a certified case study writer, whatever the thing is that you've worked with us on. So that's one form of proof. The second thing I like to do is make those samples. There's no reason why you can't have a case study sample. There's no reason why you don't have a landing page sample. Whatever the thing is that you want to do, write the samples. If you go through any of our certifications, you're going to have a sample. That's part of the development in that, or the curriculum in those certifications, is working on a real project for a real client. We proof your sample. We actually give you feedback on how to make it stronger, so you can walk out to every client and say, here's my badge that proves that I'm talented and I have this skill set. and here's the sample that you can look at to see how good I am at it. But you could write the samples. Now, let's say there's 75 different projects and you don't want to write 75 different samples. That's fine. Write the ones that you want to be known for, that you're trying to get on. And if someone says, have you ever done this before? You could say two things. One, I haven't, but I've done this, and therefore it's like that. Or you could say, let me get back to you in a couple of weeks. I'll pull something together for you so that you can see. I want to make it more relevant to you. Like, that's all you have to say. And then you create a sample. So think of it like someone is giving you an audition, and then you create a sample, and here you go, sample case study. So you could do it that way as well. Whenever there appears to be a roadblock, there's always, what I've learned, I can't remember who told me this, it's an elegant solution. There's always an elegant solution to any problem that does not require lying, bad marketing tactics, or anything dishonest, right? It's all about the elegant solution. And so writing samples for yourself, doing a certification, or just giving the client what they're asking for. We've talked with clients or copywriters about this before as well. Do you have any samples to show me? And just simply say, I'd like to show you something that's a little bit more relevant to your audience in infant safety. So how about I write an article for you? I know you want me to write this big thing, but why don't I just write a piece of content for you? It'll at least give us a chance to work together and see how we like it. It'll help both of us see if this is a right fit. Not just you. I mean, you won't say it this way, but that's the underlying sentiment, is that why don't we just have like a trial project between us so we can both see how it is to work together. And that's a great way of auditioning at a much lower scale while you learn how to do the bigger project.
Well, and so I worked for LL Bean once, and when I applied for the job, they said, what catalog copy experience have you had? And it was basically zero. But I knew the product really well. I was a customer. And so they said, would you be willing to do a practice one or a spec one for us? And I was like, sure, because I wanted to show that I was willing to learn and try and do it. So I took a catalog home and I studied it, and I decided, I made up a product and I wrote some catalog copy for it, and lo and behold, I got the job. And some people may say, well, but doing spec is free, or, it's not fair for them to ask that. If you want the job, you'll be happy to do it. And it works. I mean, I'm living proof, right? So, I mean, I wouldn't write a 48-page sales letter on total spec, but if you can put ideas together in a 2-page sort of headline and lead and show them what your great ideas are and the way you have picked up the conversational tone that fits that client, then they're going to love you for that. And especially if it's a fresh idea, they'll be like, oh, we need you. Go ahead and finish out this idea because that's awesome. So I have also written for companies that I never dreamed I'd write for, like commercial dumpsters. And so they'll be like, do you have any samples in commercial dumpsters? And I'm like, no, but I understand persuasive writing. I understand web writing. It was for a website. I understand how to write copy that will get you traffic, and then when people land at your site, they're going to act. And I know that because I've done this in many other different industries. So I'm sure I can do it for commercial dumpsters as well. And so I did get that gig too.
I like that, yeah. I've done it in other industries. I haven't written for commercial dumpsters, but I know I can because I've done it in other industries. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and it was fun learning about commercial dumpsters.
Seriously?
Just so you know. Yes! You wouldn't believe all the choices in commercial dumpsters.
Pam is one of the nicest, most interesting, wide-ranging people I know. I do not think it'd be interesting to learn about commercial dumpsters, but I love it, Pam. You can find something positive in everything.
And I think white papers are a blast to write, and they can be really interesting and fun too. They don't have to be dry in any way. They're helping the market solve a need, and to that market, that is important. And so even if it looks boring, it's not to them because it's really important to their jobs. So that's what's really fun. I work mostly in B2B, and I've written about the most boring things on the planet, but you can find a way if you're interested to make it really interesting for you and the prospect.
It's funny too, because when you say it that way, it also, again, just blows your mind as far as opportunity goes. Like, we talk about picking a niche and we can focus on something, but there are so many industries. We could stand here the whole day and just read industries, and we would never finish, because there's industries and then sub industries and then sub industries within that industry. Commercial dumpsters. It's amazing. It just shows you though, and what if you were like the commercial dumpster specialist?
Or not even. I have never touched a commercial dumpster, but man, I could write about it all day long.
I want to answer this one from Nick. Can a person write for clients in other states without having to get official papers for working in that state? We can't give any legal or financial direction simply because every situation is so different, but there's not really state lines when it comes to contracting as a freelancer. You're going to operate in your own state. So what comes into play is your own tax stuff, which you're going to want to talk to your tax professional about.
Yeah. I mean, I have an accountant I've had for 100 years, and I do his newsletter and website, by the way, but so you can do some trade. Think about it that way. But the tax laws for you and your business depend on where you live. So my residence is Florida, and so that's what I have to go by. So
it doesn't matter where your clients are, though.
Yeah, no, I have clients. I don't have any Florida clients. They're everywhere else, but it doesn't matter. It's my business is based is what matters when it comes to your tax situation. So you want to talk to an accountant or someone in your community that understands the local tax laws.
Perfect. You're welcome, Nick. Is there a way to get one-on-one help in, say, chat or video for training or help in understanding the courses? It's interesting that you say that, because I literally just had a call yesterday with some of my teammates. We have this idea to form a guidance team that will basically help people navigate, thinking of us more like a university. If you have an engineer, if you want to be an engineer, there's a very clear path for you. So we are actually working on that. In the meantime, though, our member services team is amazing. It's the nicest group of people you'll ever meet. Just call them. If one of you guys can put the number under Dawn's, that would be great. And then we have a help button on our website as well. They know everything about our programs. They know everything of the things that you couldn't even imagine they know. And if for some reason they don't know, they know who has the answer and how to get it fast. They're always the best place to start. Someone named Doodles wrote sorry, but I don't know what
Doodles, we're not sure why you're sorry.
Golden Doodle, his name is Wally. Just information about me.
Golden Doodle named Wally.
All right, guys.
Okay,
any
goodness.
other questions before we close down this session? Where do most top magazine companies and businesses go to find writers for their projects? I'm not really familiar with the journalist market. I don't know if that's not really a market that we teach since it's such a shrinking market right now. Pam, do you have any insights?
Well, industry journals and trade journals, I write for one of them in the veterinary industry, and they're found just like you find any client, basically. I mean, I used to work for a veterinary association, and so that's a really great place to find journals. If you're in the chiropractic industry, for example, look up Chiropractic Association of America or anything like that in Google, and you will find websites for that market that have journals and blogs and trade events and all kinds of stuff. And so just any way that you would find any type of client, you go the same route. And again, go to our Inside AWAI main page to scroll down to the Getting Clients part, and you'll find all kinds of free ideas on that.
I'm going to answer Mike's in just a second.
Okay. Looking at the questions here.
Start with the Smart Start program or the Writer Startup Kit. I'm always going to recommend skill. If you have no skill in this area yet or experience, I'm always going to recommend you start with the skill so that you understand the basics. And the Smart Start copywriting program has those basics. And then I'm going to ask you to quickly pivot into getting clients, because so much of what you're going to learn is going to be working with clients. And the faster you have clients and paid assignments, the more opportunities, right? You can think of the AWAI catalog as a catalog of courses that can help you do the work. So why not go ahead and get clients right away? I know it's scary. It sounds like, I might not be ready. Just get on in there and do it. Mike is asking if AWAI is mainly targeting aspiring writers, or could it also be for established people? He has a lot of experience. Mike, these programs that you're listening to right now inside AWAI, this is our free content. So a lot of times we do have new members who are part of AWAI, hence the questions that are about getting started. But AWAI has very high level courses as well. We actually levelize our programs, what we call it. So level 1 programs are for real new, when you're not quite sure what path you want to go on, you need those foundations, things like the Smart Start copywriting course, the copywriting crash course. We have a 2-day in B2B. We have a 2-day in writing for the web. From there, we move on to our second level courses, which are home study type courses where you do it on your own. These are going to take you anywhere between 4, 6, 8 weeks to get through. Very comprehensive. So if you don't know a specific project type, so looking at your background, you're really good, the research, planning, brainstorming, outlining, drafting, white papers, for example, it will show you how to write a white paper, how to market yourself as a white paper, how to write a case study, how to write a video sales letter. That's kind of our level 2 type programs. From there, we go into our certifications or master classes. These are going to be deeper dives. If you don't have a background in B2B and you want to be a 6-figure B2B copywriter, and you want a strong kind of a undergraduate degree in B2B, we have a master class that walks you through all of the project types and the players and really understanding how this quick conversation that we had today, how to actually write all of those pieces. We also have things called certifications, which are higher level programs, which take you into hands-on. So if you've never written a white paper before, you can work with Gordon Graham, who is that white paper guy, on an actual project, everything from how to talk to the client, to get the right information, to be able to do the research, to do the white paper, how to write it, all the way through. You pass a test, you get certified, we have that level of training. And then from there, we have what are called master classes, master's levels. So you want to be in financial. You can work with Clayton Makepeace and really getting into the financial industry to learn how to write $1 million sales letters in that space. You can work with Carlene and Glade Cole in the health industry. So depending on where you are and where you're hoping to go, we have different level programs for you. If you'd like some direction, you can call our member services team, let them know what you're looking for, what help you need, and recommendations on that level of course that you should take. At AWAI, we really, again, we have been around for over 20 years. We understand this industry. We have taught some of the best copywriters in the industry, but everybody starts somewhere. So we have, wherever you are coming into this conversation, that goes for him as well as everybody else. We can help you enter at the point that you're in. We have a program actually called Circle of Success that Pam was instrumental in helping us come up with back when she was a member back in the day. She was kind of our inspiration behind it, and most recently helped us to take it to the next level where it actually has a full comprehensive roadmap, access to every program that you need, and it really helps you decide, like, this is the roadmap, and based on who you are, you actually talk to a mentor. The mentor will say, oh, start on step 6. You're on step 6 of the roadmap, so you know exactly what steps to follow. So wherever you are and whatever level of training you want, we've got you covered. Gary wants to know. So Gary was talking to his horseshoe crab about earlier in a different Q&A, saying that, when you search for the master will appear. So I was saying I have found that to be true, and his horseshoe crab is spot on. So he says, do I find it strange that I keep my horseshoe crabs in a suitcase in my closet? Am I being punked? They are afraid to come out of the closet. What people might think of them. Imagine people pointing their finger and shaking their heads in shame. Soon they would have to change the laws so that the 3 of them can live happily ever after. Well, I think you win for most interesting question. Ingrid said, it was great seeing you again. Thanks for the boost. Oh, it's so good to see you, Ingrid. I'll see you.
I know it's been a while.
I haven't seen you in a while, so it's good to see you as well. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close on this session. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at askrebecca@awai.com. Or if you have any requests or ideas for future sessions, I would love to hear them. Pam and I plan out months at a time. Our next one in December coming up is with Ted Capshaw on mindset. Mindset is a huge piece of the copywriting success game. It's going to be awesome. Ted is one of my favorite teachers.
I was going to say,
a lot of hands.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
A lot of hands.
He does. He talks with his hands, but he's so awesome. And we want to help you kick off 2020 with a bang. So you don't want to miss that one.
But if you guys need anything, we're always here. Reach out, questions, challenges, obstacles, opportunities, things you just need us to dive deeper into. We are more than happy to. If we can help you move forward at all, you can count us in. So you guys have a great weekend. Have a wonderful, for those of you in the United States, a wonderful Thanksgiving. Yes. And we will see you next month on Inside AWI. Bye, everyone.
Being here. Bye.
Bye, Penny.